Ladies and gentlemen, here we are, back in this thing, one more time with one more game. Alright, what's good, y'all? Always a pleasure to be back on the tube. If you haven't done so today, count your blessings, because perception is reality. And if you appreciate the shit you got, the shit you don't may not seem so important at the end of the day. I hope y'all had a good Thanksgiving. I know I'm late. The holiday week had me in them shackles, and then the itis had me feeling a little lazy. But we back now, no sweat. Now that all the real life sentimental stuff is out the way, let's get to that fun and fake bullshit that we all want to escape to. Mafia, the definitive edition, up next. Let's get into it. Now, I've been an on-again, off-again fan of the Mafia series since I played Mafia 2 on the PS3 when I was just a jit. I say on-again, off-again because the second one was the only one I really messed with that I played more than once. I couldn't get into 3, and I missed the first one here because I was too young to be playing video games at the time, especially that type of game. Truth be told, I don't even know if I was playing video games at all back then. So, naturally, a nigga was ever so slightly intrigued when 2K announced they was gonna release a remake of the first one on PS4. Fast forward a little bit more, it was a free game, PS Plus, so I had to scoop it up. And I'm glad to say I did actually enjoy this one. It's a pretty straightforward, easy to follow, and generally entertaining crime story. I personally wouldn't put it over the second one for a number of reasons that I'll get into in a second. But I mean, if you're into all that organized crime and drama, you're looking for a good little quick story, this might be for you. A good thing is it's very digestible up front. Like once you're in, they make it easy for the player to stick around because the game gets some motion pretty quick. Off rip, I was just really appreciating how well the city was designed. The game takes place in Lost Heaven, Illinois, in the 1930s. I'm gonna just go ahead and assume it's supposed to be Chicago. No evidence, I'm just guessing. But I was messing with it. I mean, anytime a game can make me stop and look around, obviously I think that says something. It's generally a well-crafted city with some eye-catching visuals and pretty decent environmental storytelling as well. You can find newspapers lying around that tell you what's going on at that time in history, just to make it feel that much more alive and get the player a little bit more immersed in the world and story that's being presented. All heightened by a level of detail that includes the radio getting static interference when you drive through underwater tunnels. Mafia is not a typical open world gang sandbox. There's other details like cops that are much more competent than in any other game I've played, give the series a little more realism. I won't lie though, in my opinion, the realism when it comes to the cops is kinda excessive. These niggas doing too much. They dick ride just as much as cops in real life. They will literally get on your ass for mundane video game activities like speeding, running red lights. Them boys care way too much, and it's not easy to get away from them. Shit is annoying. Now, as far as gameplay goes, I'm not gonna lie, it's not deep. It's your standard third-person cover-based shooter, and that's pretty much it. But as bare bones as that may seem, there is actually a lot of mission variety. It's not often you find yourself doing the same thing, Well, I mean, other than killing people, obviously. But they make you go about it in different ways. There's street fights, car chases, tailing missions, and I was a little surprised, honestly, at the amount of stealth sections that I saw in the game. Don't get me wrong though, that's also super simple. It's just a basic crouch and creep. Press circle when you get close, take them out with maybe 2 or 3 different animations. It's all pretty standard. They're not reinventing the wheel here, But as far as missions go, I never felt like the game was getting repetitive. But anyway, when it comes to the Mafia series, the story is always the meat of the franchise, for real. So, I gotta talk about it. Just a little, but I could probably do it without spoiling nothing major. But this is your warning just in case. It's a solid story though. Good time, I can't lie. I was sucked in pretty quick, like I said earlier. It's got an abrupt start, and it's not long till you get in deep with the mob. You play as Tommy Angelo, and at first he's just a lowly, cab driving, no motion, having ass nigga. But one night, he ends up driving 2 thugs from the Salieri family as they're trying to get away from a rival crime family. At first it starts as one of the, simple one-time things That boy Tommy was just trying to get paid and wake up the next morning. But then the goons that was chasing y'all the other night go to work on his cab as payback, and you find out quick that Tommy ain't the type of dude to let that shit slide. So he goes back to Don Salieri and he wants in because he's seeing more money now than he has in his entire life. And he ain't going back to driving some cab. He's quick to adjust to his new lifestyle though, because a real nigga like Tommy only dedicated to two things: money and loyalty. As long as the cash keep coming and they got his back, he gonna die for the rose. Put that on the family type shit. Before you know it, it's business as usual. We keep on trucking. The game never drags. It stays tight and focused throughout the whole experience. It's technically an older game, so you can't really judge it too hard for being too simple or not having enough content, on the side. The truth be told, I personally was relieved to see this return to form of sorts, because Mafia 2 is the same way. And I think the reason I couldn't really get into the third one, because I felt like there was too much going on. It was a whole bunch of extra busy work that I didn't know I was signing up for. But the good news is, there's a new one coming out, Mafia: The Old Country. I'm assuming that means it's taking place back in Italy, but we'll see. It's getting announced at the Game Awards. They're gonna show something about it. I'm recording this before that happens, like the day before, so that's why I'm talking in future tense. But I'm gonna stay tuned for that. I'm definitely gonna peep that, and hopefully it turns out to have more in common with the first and second rather than the third one. But we'll see. To wrap it up though, the only slight knock against the game that I have is it was just a tad predictable in a few instances. The major one I'll try to dance around is there was this character who was just about to go clean and get out of the game, you know what I mean? But he was begging for that one last score, the big one to set him up for retirement. Now I ain't gonna say nothing, but I'll let you connect the dots and you could probably guess what happened to him. Oh, and then last thing I'll mention, just because I thought it was a nice touch, I appreciate that they added the scene with Vito and Joe at the end to tie the series together. Them boys are my OGs. You play as Vito in the second one, and he plays a big role in the third. So that's my dog for real. Good looks on their part. But alright, there we go. Glad it's out the way. Glad to be back. I know I only missed 2 weeks, and by comparison to the other breaks and delays I've had in the past, that's really nothing. But now that I'm locked in for real, any time away feels like a long time. Because if I'm not actively working on the channel, I'm thinking about working on the channel. And thinking about shit without doing shit about it pisses me off. So yeah, we locked in. Just gotta stay that way, always and forever. But that's gonna do it for today. In and out, quick and easy. More vids on the way. I'm gonna be back next week. Health and wealth to the gang. I'm out.